we are on day 5 of Allow Yourself This Love, Your Authentic Self. I'm really excited about day 5. I've been waiting for this one. And it was actually inspired by a Course in Miracles teacher named Earl Purdy. Now, Earl Purdy, he teaches out of Denver, Colorado, but I heard him speak at a conference in New York City. It was a conference for A Course in Miracles. And he really said something during his talk that touched me and really made me think. It really made me, change how I looked at myself. And, I think I've quoted him today, in today's lesson. And what he said was basically like, when you are not being your authentic self, you are depriving yourself of the experience of being surrounded by people who love you just being you, exactly how you are. And in my history and in my life, I've always kind of been the type of person who molded how I expressed myself based on who I was with and what they expected of me. So I was very willing and easy to change or hide parts of myself or pretend so that the other people, in my opinion, would like me. And it was something that has always kind of struck a nerve with me, like as not feeling right, as not being genuine. However, it was kind of like this survival coping mechanism that I had picked up over the years. And so when he said that, and I heard it, he was really giving me permission to stop hiding, to stop lying, to stop pretending, and to really let myself express who I am authentically. And in truth, we know that we're not our personality. That is not the ultimate expression of who we are. Our true self is that presence being that is connected with God. That's who we really are. But while we're here on earth, it is a really fun and unique experience and a playful experience to kind of really express ourselves in ways that feels really authentic and really unique to us and really personal to us. And really, people will be sent to us who are attracted to that exact personality, to that exact way of expressing. And so when you're hiding that or you're not being true to that, then you're really losing out on the opportunity of being surrounded by people who genuinely are attracted to that and are genuinely helped and inspired by that. And so not that it can change who you are in reality, but it can really change your experience when you are true to how you feel, what you're thinking, all of those things. So today is about really opening up and not being afraid to let your authentic self shine and radiate, because it is a gift to this world when you are being authentically you. There is no one else like you in this world. There will never be another you, another expression of God that looks like you, talks like you, acts like you, thinks like you do. And really try and enjoy the experience of being you in this earthly incarnation that you're on, that you're experiencing right now. Really try and own who you are and what you're meant to be while you're here, what gifts you're meant to bring. Because people will need you exactly how you do it. That's what Earl Purdy said. He said, people will need you exactly how you do it, and people will be sent to you who need it how you do it. So do it. Just do it, right? Really try and remember that you're not here to please everyone. You're never going to please everyone. You're here to please yourself. And I know that there's integrity in serving others. There's integrity in making others feel comfortable. But ultimately, you need to honor yourself, and you need to honor what you're here to do. And it's a really fantastic experience when you are living what you're here to do, what you were sent here to do, what you came here to do. And you can do that by really just being authentically you. The exact personality traits you have, the exact mannerisms, the exact experiences, all of that has happened and has come together so that you could be exactly who you are today. Because exactly who you are today is needed by the world. It's needed by the people in this world to shine a beautiful, glorious light to anyone who sees it and is just reminded of their own authentic self, reminded that, oh yeah, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to be genuinely and authentically me. And it can be something that might not necessarily be at the forefront of our attention. For me, it was kind of, it kept coming up for me because I was not being true to my authentic self. I was always trying to be what I thought other people wanted me to be. And that's like a burden that you're placing on yourself. That's like it's so heavy, and it's so, just you drag it along with you. And what I'm encouraging you to do today is to let that go. To let go of the expectations of others in place of what you want to be, who you want to be, and what you actually think. And you can do that with integrity, you can do that with respect to others, but really you need to respect yourself and you need to honor yourself, because that's going to really be what changes your experience, and it's going to be what allows you to respect and honor others, is by first respecting and honoring yourself. That's how you learn how to do this, is by doing it for yourself first. And I think this is an amazing way to allow yourself love, is to not be so rigid in how you expect yourself to act and expect yourself to follow the social norms, or to whatever kind of ways that you might have limited your behavior or your actions or even your thoughts in a way because you didn't think that it fit in. You didn't think that other people would respond favorably or that other people would like you. All of those things, let those go today. Really, as you go out into the world today, practice being authentically you. Practice saying what you think, practice being what you are, and practice doing the things that you feel like you want to do. Really, nothing you can say and nothing you can do could ever change God's opinion of you. And ultimately, God's opinion of you is the only opinion that matters. So it's time to not care about what anyone else thinks of you or what anybody else says about you. See if you can come to a place of real strength within you that says, I love me, and I'm here to shine in this exact way. That's why I feel the urges to say the things I do and to be the way I am, is because that's what I'm here to do. That's exactly what I'm here to do, is to follow who I am and be true to that. And when you do that, you're opening the door for miracles to happen, because people who do like you will respond in such a way that you realize, wow, I am loved, I am appreciated exactly how I am. You don't want to limit yourself to an experience where you're just in a little box and you don't know if people truly do like you, and would they like me if they knew the real me, and would they, be as nice to me, or whatever thoughts that go through your head. You can really open yourself to the experience of, wow, I am loved, I am appreciated, and I'm just being me. How amazing is that? But that starts with you first allowing yourself the love and being willing to let your authentic self shine. You have to love yourself enough and allow in the love enough so that you are willing to be you. And you can do it. It's a really amazing, awesome experience. And you'll see that you attract more and more. When you're more true to who you are, you'll attract more and more people who like you being you. And the people who don't like you being you, you can just let them go. You don't need to hold on to them, because when you let them go, then you're making space for people who actually do love you being you. And that's an experience you deserve to have. That's a love that you deserve to have. And it ultimately is just a reflection of the love that God has for you and that you are cultivating for yourself. So, be your authentic self. Really take it on as a challenge today to, even like those little white lies that you might tell just because you're afraid. Ultimately, it might not seem like fear. You might seem like you're just following the norm, or you're just being wanting to be liked those kinds of things. But really, ultimately, you're afraid. You're afraid you'll be rejected. You're afraid that you'll be disliked, disowned, left, abandoned. Those are the subtle fears behind not being genuinely you. And it's time to let those fears go. Because when you let those fears go, what happens is so much more amazing and so much better. You'll see that there was actually nothing to fear. There was only all this love to gain, this great experience of acceptance to gain when you accept yourself and are genuinely happy with yourself. When I think about things that I'm challenging myself to do and encouraging myself to do, like being my authentic self, I like to think, WWJD, what would Jesus do? And I personally like Jesus. I know not everyone does, and that's okay. You don't have to like Jesus to get to God. That's definitely a fallacy. But I think about what would Jesus do? And I think, what if Jesus had been afraid to be himself? What if he had been afraid because he didn't want to upset the social norms at the time, or he didn't want to rock the boat? What if he was wanting to impress his mom, and so he just decided to become a Pharisee like all of the other religious leaders at that time, and just preach the same thing that had been preached for years? And that story would have been completely different and completely forgotten if that's what Jesus had done. But instead, Jesus took the time to really center himself in who he is and who he was and what he was there to do. And he grew in strength and confidence in that mission and in himself. And he went out there and he did it. He did it. He didn't care about pissing anyone off. He didn't care about not being liked. He didn't care about upsetting the social norms. He didn't care. And guess what happened? He made a bunch of friends. A bunch of people followed him and were inspired by him and loved him dearly. And he was completely taken care of. Just in being him. Just in owning up to who he was and what he was there to do. So we're all like Jesus. He's not different from us. And we can all have that same exact experience that Jesus had. In fact, that's what Jesus is calling us to do. He was an example for us, and he's calling us to live as he lived and do as he did. So it started, before he loved everyone else unconditionally, it started with being true to himself. And it started with unconditionally loving himself and being willing to be authentically him, despite the opinions of the people around him. So, can you do that? Can you be fearless in being who you are, authentically you, and saying the things you believe and doing the things that you feel called to do? Can you be brave enough to walk in those shoes and those steps? And you know what? I'm here to tell you that you are. You are brave enough, or else you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be on earth, first of all, if you weren't ready to express yourself in the exact way that you feel like expressing yourself. And you wouldn't be in this program if you weren't ready to allow yourself the love of being authentically you. So, this is your mission today, is to really, for today and from now on, but let today be a day of real focus and intent on being authentically you as much as you possibly can, a little bit more each time. And in every interaction you either have with other people, with circumstances, or even with yourself, in every interaction, let you be noticing if you're authentically expressing yourself in the way that you want to express yourself. Are you being true to who you really are? I know sometimes with kind of our brand of religion, our brand of spirituality, which isn't completely mainstream, it can be a little bit intimidating to fully express yourself in the way that you believe and in the way that you feel called to. And it can take a little bit of time to really build up that courage. But today is a little push to get you to be willing to express yourself completely authentically. Even when you're around people who you know may not be all about them, who you know may not react completely favorably. That's kind of what you're here to do. You're here to give them that push. By you being authentically you, you're pushing the people around you to step a little bit outside of their comfort zones and explore a little bit more about themselves and think a little bit more about the ways that they see the world and the way that they believe in things. And when you do that, you're completing your mission here on earth, which is exactly to let your light shine, and through that, liberate others to let their light shine. And even if it doesn't seem like you're doing that in the moment, that's the journey that you're leading people on when you're expressing yourself in a very authentic, genuine way. And it's a real joy. It's a real joy to express yourself in your most truest sense. And it's liberating. It's liberating to drop all of the chains that you have kind of been dragging around that say you have to be a certain way or you have to do a certain thing, act in a certain manner. It's so liberating to drop that and say, no more rules. I have no more rules for myself. I'm just going to be so authentically true to what I feel in the moment and what I feel like saying and what I feel like doing. I'm going to be true to that. Oh, it leaves all this room for freedom and expression and just living moment to moment and not being defined by the past. It really allows you to come into a moment, into a space that's completely brand new, that's completely open and free, and allowing you to just shine in this moment in the most beautiful possible way. And the joy that can come from this is the joy that we're all looking for. That joy that says, I'm doing exactly what I love to do, and I'm so in love with who I am, and I'm so happy to be exactly where I am because I'm allowing myself the love and the space to do exactly that. And no one else can give you this privilege. No one else can give you a certificate and say, here you go. You go out there and be you. It has to be you. It has to come from a place within that says, I accept me for exactly who I am and for exactly what I believe and for exactly what resonates with me. And I'm going to go out there and express myself in those ways. And I'm going to do that so that I feel the love that I have for myself, so that I feel the love that God has for me, so I can feel the love that all my brothers have for me, and so that I give all my brothers permission to do the exact same thing by being an example of the joy and the happiness that comes from being exactly who I am in the face of anything that would try and deter me or anything that I would allow to prevent me from expressing myself in my most authentic way. So, can you do that today? Can you give yourself the permission to be authentically you? I can tell you that I love you exactly as you are. I love you being who you want to be and expressing yourself in the ways you want to express yourself. I love that about you. I really do. And I want you to love that about you too. I want you to see how amazing and how wonderful you are. And you can only see how wonderful and how amazing you are by letting your wonderful, amazing self just shine through. No more hiding, no more covering your truest expression of you. It's time to let it out. And it's a glorious time to let those fireworks just explode out of you. You don't have to try to be you. You don't have to effort it. You just have to allow it. You just have to allow it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really glad that I get to share this message because it's a really personal one for me, and it it's me being my authentic self to share this message of calling you to be your authentic self. So it's a joy, and it fills me with excitement to be entering into this space of sharing this message with you. So thank you for giving me that space. Thank you for loving me and accepting me when I'm being my authentic self, because you are the witnesses that this actually works, and that being your authentic self can really attract the people who love you just being you. So thank you for being those people for me, and I'm so honored to be one of those persons for you. And it's a great little family that we have going on here, and allow yourself this love. So thank you for being a part of it. Genuinely, thank you for being a part of it. So try the daily practice today. If it doesn't sit right with you for whatever reason, you can try a different way of going about it. But really try and give yourself unconditional love. Be really compassionate to yourself for everything you've done in the past. Really be compassionate about it. Really allow that to be okay. Allow what you've done and where you've been to be perfectly okay, so that you can really move forward in your life with complete compassion for yourself all of the time. You deserve to just be surrounded in your own love, to be consumed and filled entirely with your own love. And when you give yourself permission to love everything about you from the past until now and moving forward, then you're really giving yourself permission to be your authentic self, because there's nothing you can do that can take your own love away from you. So you might as well let it shine, let it come out your mouth, let it be expressed in the way that you are thinking it should be expressed, and no longer stop yourself with your fears, with your worries. Let those go, and really let it come out. Let's see you being you, and it's gonna just fill you with so much excitement and love to know that you can do this. So, day 5, your authentic self. Thanks for joining me. I really love you. I'll see you tomorrow.